justice for Waukesha.
Is there a sense of more finality here that the trial is over?
Tonight, a community reflects on the lives lost and how to move forward after the guilty verdict.
My friends, people I know personally that were affected by this, they can start to heal now.
It's relief. I'm just so glad it's over.
TMJ4 News at 6 starts now.
A verdict in the Waukesha Christmas parade tragedy today. After weeks of reliving that horrible day in the courtroom, Darrell Brooks found guilty on all counts. My co-anchor Charles Benson joining me from Waukesha tonight. And Charles, you spoke with a number of people after the verdict was announced.
Good evening, Shannon. Yeah, emotions have been high throughout this trial. The jury ultimately making a fairly quick decision this morning. The 12 men and women found Darrell Brooks guilty of all 76 counts, including 6 counts of first-degree intentional homicide. He faces a mandatory life sentence for each homicide count. Now, the jury deliberated less than 4 hours to reach a verdict. Families impacted by the tragedy were emotional after that decision.
This morning, my 5-year-old daughter came up to me and handed me this necklace with my mom's ashes in it, and she told me to take my mom with us for the sentencing. So she was with us today.
Brooks will appear in court on Monday, where the court will set his sentencing date. Now, on Main Street today, we talked with residents about the trial and what it means for the community. Many believe the verdict will help the healing process, especially for the families of the victims. Here are the 6 people who lost their lives in this parade tragedy. Bill Hospel, Leanne Owen, Jane Kulik, Ginny Sorensen, Tamara Duran, and the youngest, Jackson Sparks. They are not forgotten and never will. The names of all 6 people killed can be found on street poles throughout downtown, a reminder of the day that changed Waukesha. Lee and Karen Velboom remember that day. They say it's still hard to come downtown and not think about what happened, especially after watching the trial.
I'm so glad it's over. I think it brought up a lot of painful memories for so many people.
Now that this is behind you, what does that allow people to do going forward?
It's relief, I think, and we know that the system works. I guess I'm just so glad it's over, and now people can just move on and heal.
Damian Lefebvre watched the Darrell Brooks trial. He's called Waukesha home for most of his life. He was not impressed with Brooks's courtroom tears or efforts to create sympathy for himself.
The whole trial was just like him trying to divert from taking any kind of responsibility, and he finally got his just dues. And the families that were affected by this, and all my friends, people I know personally that were affected by this, they can start to heal now.
Healing has been an ongoing effort for downtown businesses, with signs like Waukesha Strong. Phil Esche works downtown, and like many here, he still feels the pain and anguish from that day. Is there a sense of more finality here that the trial is over?
Yes, there's a sense of finality. It is taken care of. I believe it was done very, very well. I think everything was handled extremely well, and I'm extremely proud of the Waukesha court system.
Finding closure for a community that has been through so much. I want to bring in defense attorney now, Jonathan Lavoie. He's been joining us throughout this process to help us dive deeper into what's next in the process. And Jonathan, we did hear a lot of praise on the street today for the judge and the judicial system. But when you look at the challenges in this case, especially with the size and the scope of the number of people impacted, how difficult was this?
Well, I'm just proud of the court system. I thought the judge and the prosecutor did really well. I thought the court system did well. I thought they gave Mr. Brooks a fair trial. I thought that they respected the whole process, and I think it was finally over. And I think it was a good trial.
So we know the next phase here will be with the sentencing. No mystery here that Brooks likely to face life in prison. But what will this opportunity allow the families, the people hurt and harmed by Darrell Brooks.
Right. There's so many victims affected by his acts. They will all be given an opportunity to submit a victim impact statement, either in writing or in person or by Zoom. This will be their opportunity to tell the judge and Mr. Brooks how this behavior affected them and their families.
What about Mr. Brooks? Will he have a chance, too, to present a case for perhaps leniency?
Yes, Mr. Brooks will have a chance to talk to the judge and to address the victims. He'll also have a chance to call witnesses like his mother or other family members. They can either appear in person or write letters on his behalf as well.
All right, Jonathan Lavoie, thank you so much for all your help throughout this trial. And Shannon, I want to let you know that behind us, you can see they're working on a mural here called Waukesha Strong. And coming up a little bit later in the broadcast, we'll tell you about this work and what's being done to have everybody in this community remember that Waukesha remains strong. I'll send it back to you now.
All right, thanks, Charles.